first shot in coming war with President Trump. Mark Cuban fires the first shot at Trump for the 2020 election according to Freedom Beacon. The billionaire businessman Mark Cuban fires the shot by admitting that he is considering a possible run for President of the United States on Tuesday. A new podcast posted this on Thursday. Advertisement. It's funny because the liberals would be pissed. He would rip away a lot of votes away from Kamala Harris and Trump would destroy them both much easier. In an interview with former Democratic South Carolina State Representative Behar Sellers' podcast Viewpoint, Cuban said he is an independent all the way through who tries to remain informed and objective on issues. Sellers noted that Cuban supported Hillary Clinton during her campaign against President Donald Trump in 2016 and asked if he would help Democrats in the 2018 midterm elections. Cuban doesn't believe that he will not be campaigning during midterms, but that could change depending on the fact that Cuban isn't known for being very decisive in the political sphere. Advertisement. Mark, are you considering running for President of the United States? Sellers asked. Yes. Considering, yes, Cuban said. Ready to commit to it, no. If it comes down to, do I think I can win because I can convince more people to vote for me? Then no, I won't run, Cuban said. Cuban remarked in 2015 that he could beat both Trump and Clinton if he decided to run in 2016, although he stayed out of the race. Cuban owns the NBA's Dallas Mavericks and also serves as one of the rotating shark investors on the hit show Shark Tank. Cuban would lose. So it doesn't matter if he runs anyway. Cuban may have a good chance that way both outsiders would be running, but Trump would then have 4 years on him in office. What do you think of Cuban running? Just in major NFL sponsor Anheuser Busch makes decision on the NFL. Recently we reported that Budweiser was considering ending their sponsorship of the NFL due to the anthem protests. Budweiser is owned by Anheuser Busch Company. Now Red State Watcher has an update about Anheuser Busch's final decision on what it will do as a company in response to hearing from many Americans about the issue. In their statement, Anheuser Busch writes that they have a long heritage of supporting the institutions and values that have made America so strong. That includes our armed forces and the national anthem. Advertisement. So far so good. The statement goes on to say that Anheuser Busch also values diversity, equality and freedom of speech. We proudly employ over 1,100 military veterans and we work every day to create an inclusive environment for all of our employees. Because only together can we achieve our dream of bringing people together for a better world. The statement then takes a sharp left turn. The phone line for customer input was never specifically about their sponsorship of the NFL, it was just open to customer input, the statement claims. The Anheuser-Busch phone line has always been available for consumer inquiries on a variety of topics, but we are not conducting a survey regarding our NFL sponsorship, it reads. We have many long-term sports partnerships, including our NFL sponsorship, and while we may not agree on everything, we still believe in the power of sport to bring people together and overcome their differences. We have no plans to end our NFL sponsorship. Advertisement. This is very politically correct, don't you think? It sounds like Anheuser Busch is basically backing down. What do you think? Joy Behar proves she has low IQ with rant on Trump and guns today on The View. The View took advantage of the latest tragedy to push their awful politics. Joy Behar proves that she and her co-panelists are very stupid on matters of politics. The View actually got their first legitimate chance to respond to the shooting on Tuesday according to MRC. They want to vote out the Republicans out to stand up to the gun lobby. Never mind the fact that what the shooter did was illegal and murder is already illegal. Joy Behar proves that she doesn't understand that guns don't kill people, people do. Advertisement. We used our voices to say, It is bearable that 26-year-olds were killed. Bill O'Reilly said it yesterday, this is the price of our freedom. I say, no, this is not the price of our freedom. This is what the Constitution is supposed to protect us against. She gushed. The price of freedom. People in Canada live with just as much freedom as we do, and yet they have zero practically gun violence like this, host Joy Behar claimed. Fellow host Whoopi Goldberg then pondered out loud why the shooting wasn't called a terrorist attack. When you call something a domestic terror, you can't say, "Get out of my country." When it's perceived to be someone from overseas, they say, "Well, that's why you need a stronger wall, that's why you need this." What do we say about this? What do you say about a domestic terrorism? Asked Whoopi. Advertisement. Well, firstly, because to be terrorism there has to be an ideology, also the investigation is still going on. There is no way to know a motive yet. False flag, first shots of the next civil war, deranged psychopath, we don't know. He wasn't a terrorist because he didn't have a political goal. It's a rich white guy, Behar played into the race baiting. It's a whole other world now to deal with, she added. Behar then fretted that the news cycle would shift back to the everyday news right away, with no action by Congress. We are going to stop talking about this in a week, and they have on their desk, Congress has on their desk the idea that they should allow silencers now on guns because of hunters' hearing issues. Joy and her friends think gun control works. How about the fact the guns were illegal and the shooting was in a gun-free zone? What do you think about this? Former Marine's heroic story of how he saved over 24 people in Las Vegas shooting. A heroic story leaked out from the Daily Mail after the Las Vegas massacre. This heroic story is one for the books, as a former Marine stole a truck and rescued dozens of people. Taylor Winston is the former Marine who heard the gunfire and he hopped into action. He was with his friend Jen Lewis and they fought their hardest to save lives. Advertisement. Winston, and his friend Jen Lewis, immediately sprung into action to try and save lives during the shooting. There were tens of thousands of civilians sprinting and rolling away in an attempt to get away. The Iraq veteran aided numerous people to hop the fence before just ripping it down so they could escape the shots. The shots got louder and louder, closer to us, and saw people getting hit. It was like we could be hit at any second, he told CBS News. Once we got to the fence, I helped throw a bunch of people over, and got myself over. It was a mini war zone, but we couldn't fight back. Advertisement. He saw hundreds of civilians with bullet wounds, so he took further action. He decided to aid the ambulances because they were overwhelmed. Winston and Lewis found an unattended truck near the venue with keys still inside and used it to transport victims to the hospital. The van was left covered in blood after Winston rushed seriously injured festival-goers to hospital. He ended up finding a truck with keys left in and no owner in sight. He took the keys and used it to take the wounded to the hospital. Jen and I luckily found a truck with keys in it and started transporting priority victims to the hospital and made a couple trips and tried to help out the best we could until more ambulances could arrive, Winston told the Daily Beast. Winston said picking people to take to hospital was made difficult by the sheer volume of people that needed help. There was just too many and it was overwhelming how much blood was everywhere. This is an American and a loving person. What do you think about this? Check out what happens when San Juan mayor finally meets Trump face-to-face in Puerto Rico. Hurricane Maria is racist. President Trump is racist. Weather is racist. You reading this, you're racist. I'm racist. Race is racist. The ocean is especially racist. Now that we've established that, let's talk about the moronic San Juan mayor who called out according to the left. The San Juan mayor is one of 78 mayors across Puerto Rico and she is the only one that had a problem with Trump and FEMA's response to Hurricane Maria. She was very stupid when she gave the address to CNN showing all of the aid behind her. Advertisement. They met in person today according to IJR, and it was awesome. She shook hands with the president. San Juan Mayor Carmen Yulín Cruz finally came face-to-face with President Donald Trump in Puerto Rico on Tuesday amid their public spat over the U.S. response to the devastating hurricane damage on the island. Cruz shook the president's hand without incident ahead of a planned briefing on Monday. However, it was also reported that Cruz refused to clap with everyone else at the table for Trump as he discussed the federal response in Puerto Rico. Trump did not criticize Cruz during the briefing, but he did offer some strong words of praise for Puerto Rico Governor Ricardo Rossello for refusing to play politics in the aftermath of the hurricane. Rossello also thanked Trump and the federal government for its efforts during the time of crisis. What do you think of this story? Hollywood heartthrob and huge Trump ally to take on California Dem in key House race. California has a reputation as a left-wing stronghold. It's about as Democrat as you can get. Now Newsmax is reporting on a Hollywood heartthrob and big Trump supporter who's running for Congress in California's 26th district. Antonio Sabato Jr. is running against Democratic Congresswoman Julia Brownley and is confident that his strong support of America First immigration, economic and military policy will get him elected. Sabato is most famous for his acting in General Hospital and Melrose Place. He immigrated legally to America from Italy in 1985 and became a U.S. citizen in 1996. Sabato has said he wants to see some legislation to help dreamers, but first he wants the wall to get built. Advertisement. We need to build this wall and we need to make it harder for people to come to this country, but with hard work it's not impossible, he explained. Sabato also supports Trump's strong stance on standing during the national anthem. Sabato's website makes it clear that he isn't afraid to stand out from Hollywood anti-Trumpers and emphasizes that he has not been shy about his political views in the face of his Hollywood peers and is proud of his early support for President Donald J. Trump. Sabato has repeatedly explained why he supports President Trump. Advertisement. I supported our president from day one because I knew he was the guy for the job. I just had enough with being lied to by a government for such a long time. We need people in government like myself who are actually going to work for the American people. It's simple as that, Sabato said. On immigration, too, Sabato is strongly behind Trump. Our country should be first, and we finally have a president who says certain things that might be too harsh to take, but at the end of the day, you know, we have a lot of people who are coming here illegally, he said. At what point do you actually close the border and make it something where it's harder to get in here, not easier? Sabato announced he was running in May and he is feeling confident because he puts veterans and the middle class first. I think veterans should be first in line to be treated and they're not. We're not doing enough for our veterans who are risking their lives, who have risked so much, he said. We need to help American people go to work and feel happy again that they're in the right country. And so that's why I'm in. I'm in it for the American people from day one. Sabato's opponent Brownley has been a total failure in Congress, accomplishing literally nothing, so he has a real shot here. Brownley even ignored the fact that a VA office in her district was caught shredding records after it was exposed as having massive wait times for veterans. She's not America first, in other words. But that shouldn't surprise any of us, she's a Democrat. Brownley has an even worse record on other issues. She didn't oppose Obama when he opened up citrus imports to the U.S. in a way that massively hurt the economy in her district, and she didn't stand up against the awful Iran nuclear deal or the danger of sanctuary cities. She's a Democrat, Sabato's a patriot. Being a Republican and with proximity to the White House and Republican leadership, he's going to be able to get more done, being in the majority, with his notoriety, for the residents of the 26th Congressional District, Sabato's fundraiser Charles Moran said. California's 26th district includes much of Ventura County, including the towns of Thousand Oaks, Camarillo and Oxnard. The district voted federally for Obama and Clinton, but it has also voted twice in the past for a Republican governor and Carly Fiorina for Senate. Translation: Sabato has a real shot in the 26th district if he plays his cards right. What do you think about Anthony Sabato Jr. running for Congress? Do you support him? As Sabato Jr. has explained, the media has been trying to smear him from day one. Right after shaking his hand in Puerto Rico, San Juan mayor goes on CNN and stabs Trump in back. Independent Journal Review brought a story about the ungrateful, whiny San Juan mayor just moments after she met with Trump. It was obvious that she is serving her Democratic overlords and not telling the truth. The San Juan mayor goes insane even more every time she's on TV. The San Juan mayor goes on TV and lies about Trump. That's no surprise. This is just embarrassing for her because just hours after shaking his hand in Puerto Rico she made an appearance on CNN to bash Trump again. Let's face it, that's about all CNN puts on their airwaves anyway. Advertisement. She was asked if she believes that Trump would continue to help Puerto Rico's needs in the aftermath. Never mind the fact that Puerto Rico has enough supplies for the entire island for 6 months and the corrupt Puerto Rican official on the ground aren't distributing the aid. Never mind the fact that she gave Trump a glowing review just a week ago. This is what she said. "Well, I sure hope so. But, you know, sometimes his foul communication gets in the way. We would have all preferred, and I'm speaking for myself, to just have him hear from us the reality on the ground versus Alice in Wonderland and back to reality. So we saw 2 meetings, totally disconnected, one to another. One was to praise the people that are working here." Later, Cruz reiterated that Trump has a lack of sensibility and slammed him for joking that Puerto Rico threw the U.S. budget out of whack. Advertisement. "I think his staff understands now, and they have all the data they need. But I would hope that the President of the United States stops spouting out comments that really hurt the people of Puerto Rico," she said. Rather than commander-in-chief, he sort of becomes miscommunicator-in-chief. What do you think of this disrespectful jerk? Sean Hannity rips shameless liberals for vile thing they just did to Melania Trump. Sean Hannity rips the left on a regular basis. On his website, Sean Hannity rips the losers who bashed First Lady Melania Trump over the shoes she was wearing on her trip to Puerto Rico. Is this real life? Are left-wing nuts seriously that concerned about the First Lady's fashion choices? It's embarrassing to see things like this. Advertisement. Left-wing activists and bloggers are yet again attacking First Lady Melania Trump over her footwear, shamelessly slamming the president's wife for wearing work boots as she traveled to Puerto Rico to witness recovery efforts on the devastated island. The First Lady and President Trump left the White House on Tuesday, visiting the hurricane-battered U.S. territory to aid in recovery efforts. As scenes of the first family popped up on social media, left-wing activists couldn't help but comment on Melania's choice of footwear. "Lol, Melania is wearing white jeans and Timbs in Puerto Rico," wrote one user. "Melania Trump wearing Timberland boots as if she's going to go work in Puerto Rico," posted another. The despicable comments are just a repeat of very similar insults that were issued towards Melania Trump when she went on a tour of Texas after Hurricane Harvey ravaged the Houston area. The First Lady is beautiful and has impeccable fashion sense. Maybe the left is jealous because their women are hideous and unattractive. It's a trend that I've noticed over the past several years. The more liberal a woman, the uglier she is, except for in Hollywood. They have fake attractiveness. What do you think about these losers bashing our First Lady?